Long before the United States became a country, the land was home to millions of Native Americans. They lived in great forests, on wide grasslands, and near long rivers. Different tribes had different cultures, languages, and traditions. Some tribes were farmers. Some were hunters. Some moved from place to place. Others built large villages that lasted hundreds of years. For thousands of years, they lived close to nature. They hunted buffalo, fished in clean rivers, and planted corn, beans, and squash. They believed the earth was a gift and must be protected. In the 1400s and 1500s, explorers from Europe began crossing the Atlantic Ocean. At first, they came to explore. Later, they came to stay. This began a new and difficult chapter for the Native Americans, because life on their land was about to change forever. This is where the long story of the USA begins. In the late 1500s and early 1600s, European countries like Spain, France, and England sent ships across the ocean. They wanted gold, land, and new trade routes. English settlers arrived in Jamestown, Virginia, in 1607. Life was very hard. Many became sick and hungry. They did not know how to grow food in the new land. Native Americans helped them survive, but conflicts also grew as more Europeans arrived. Soon, more settlements appeared. Plymouth in 1620, where pilgrims came for religious freedom. Boston in Massachusetts, which became a busy town. New York, first settled by the Dutch. Life was difficult, but full of hope. People wanted a new beginning. Little did they know that one day these small settlements would grow into a new country. By the mid-1700s, there were 13 British colonies in North America. The people worked hard, built towns, and created businesses. But they had a problem. They were ruled by the King of England, and they had no representation in British government. Taxes increased. Anger grew. Protests began. One famous event was the Boston Tea Party, where colonists threw tea into the water to protest unfair taxes. Leaders like George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, and Thomas Jefferson met to discuss freedom. They believed people had the right to rule themselves. In 1776, they wrote the Declaration of Independence, saying the colonies were now a new nation. The United States of America. A long and difficult war followed. From 1775 to 1783, the Revolutionary War raged across the colonies. The British Army was powerful. The American fighters were fewer, but they were determined. Life was hard for everyone. Towns burned. Supplies were low. But Americans kept fighting for freedom. In 1781, victory came with help from France. And in 1783, Britain finally recognized the independence of the United States. A new nation was born, but it had much to learn and many problems to solve. After the war, the U.S. needed a system of government. Leaders met in Philadelphia and wrote the Constitution, which created the roles of President, Congress, and the Supreme Court. George Washington became the first president in 1789. He helped organize the new government and encouraged unity. But the new country faced challenges. How to manage money, how to deal with new lands, conflicts with Native Americans, differences between northern and southern states. Still, people believed in a brighter future. The nation was young but full of possibility. During the 1800s, the United States grew rapidly. The country bought land, made treaties, and sometimes fought wars. One major event was the Louisiana Purchase in 1803, which doubled the size of the nation. Pioneers moved west in wagons, searching for land and opportunity. Towns appeared, railroads spread, and new states joined the Union. But expansion brought suffering to Native Americans, who were pushed from their lands. The Trail of Tears was one of the saddest moments in American history. The country was growing, but not always in a fair way. By the 1860s, the United States was deeply divided. The northern states opposed slavery, while the southern states depended on it for farming. In 1861, the Civil War began. It lasted 4 long years and became one of the deadliest conflicts in American history. President Abraham Lincoln fought to keep the country together and to end slavery. In 1865, the Union, North, won, and slavery was abolished. But the nation was left wounded. People hoped for peace and healing. After the Civil War, the United States entered a time of fast progress. Factories grew, cities expanded, and millions of immigrants arrived from Europe and Asia. New inventions changed daily life. The telephone, the light bulb, the car, skyscrapers, America became a world leader in industry and technology. But life was not easy for everyone. Workers demanded rights. Women fought for the right to vote. African Americans fought against discrimination. The country was strong, but still learning. In the 1900s, the U.S. played major roles in both World War I and World War II. After 1945, America became one of the world's superpowers. The mid-20th century saw big changes. The civil rights movement led by Martin Luther King Jr., the Cold War with the Soviet Union, the space race, which put humans on the moon in 1969, new technology like computers and the internet. America was becoming modern, fast. Today, the United States is one of the most diverse nations on Earth. People from all backgrounds live and work together. The country has achievements in science, entertainment, technology, and education. It still faces challenges, political disagreements, economic issues, and social problems. But the story of the USA continues to grow and change. The history of the United States is a story of courage, struggle, hope, and the search for freedom. And the story is not finished yet.